God, when she clocked the energy of your Instagram bio,
that was fucking insane.
That was iconic.
Which I think I've changed it since then.
This is when we intro you.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't even it was not even anything that it said. It was literally just like the projection.
So you got it. You picked up on it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I was going to say also that in reference to what you guys were saying, long-time stands of Divine Rising New Earth, of which there are countless, will know that Annika and I exist as part of a larger narrative where we are the stars of a reality show that is produced by our ancient future starseed selves in the galaxy Milkdromeda, when the Milky Way and Andromeda combine. So it's like in that way, our Milkdromedan selves, this is just an example of like higher dimensional aspects of self, wrote a script and a juicy little plot line of all the little clues and twists and turns, and then like we are these reality stars who are like just as we're like finding these clues that we like scripted in for ourselves, but we break the fourth wall because then we're like, did we leave this clue for ourselves from Milkdromeda? And then we're like, wow, I wonder how the Milkdromedans feel seeing us say that on the screen and stuff like that.
Pull it out for what it is. They're like,
I like that. It's an interesting concept though. Of like, I would say like we are in a reality show and it's God. I would call it God, like feeding us energy and information and like clues from behind the veil of the Matrix, right? And so whether it's like we're just like getting these signs, and then also there's like God listens to you and hears you. So if you're speaking, and I'm big on like manifestation, there's the whole concept of reaping and sowing seeds. So it's like you're sowing seeds karmically, whether it's giving to somebody or like speaking into somebody or like asking for something, and then like things just come in at the weirdest times. Like there will be like a time delay, and then like The Secret back in, I was like big into the Secret back in the 2000s.
That was like, that's what popped me off when I was like, I watched it in high school. I remember I watched it in high school, and I like made a vision board and manifested all of this ish, and I was just like, what the heck is life? I literally was like, oh my God, magic is real.
Yeah. But there's a time delay, right?
Exactly.
So it's like you set this intention, you sow the seed, and then you let it go, and life goes on, and then it comes back in all these strange ways.
Which I think is what people miss nowadays, is they get so caught up on like
checking the 3D.
On checking the 3D. Yeah, which we talk about. It's like even you can't really care if it comes or when it comes, like and like be like, oh, it doesn't work because it didn't come right away.
The attachment is actually what drives away manifestation.
Right, and maybe it's trying to come in for you in a way that like it's literally actually going to last and be the like best, most optimal thing for you, and you're going to be like exactly ready to receive it in this perfect way. But like that means that like it's not going to happen to you for 6 months, and by the time it comes in, you're going to have forgotten that you even tried to manifest it. But it's like, I guess it takes some like actually making it happen to get some faith, but like the like instant gratification manifestation lore there is out there these days, I think like turns a lot of people off from it, because they're like, this stuff doesn't even work. But it's like, you don't understand that like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, like people's like tried and true, the whole baseline of that book is like persist. Literally success comes from like you never giving up, and it's not like the person who was like, oh, I'm going to visualize this, and then the next day it comes, and then boom, like we have it. It's like, no, it's like, how much are you not going to accept the reality that the 3D illusion is showing you, and like be brought down by the fact that like what you want hasn't happened yet? How much are you just like gonna continue on and like not care? Yeah. Anyway, sorry, continue. I totally interrupted you.
No, I loved it. As we were having that conversation, I saw the book Vibrational Medicine, and I just, when I look at words, I'm like, I'm not thinking, I'm sure that book's kind of about a little bit something else, but I'm thinking like, you're talking about, numbers and energy and alignment and manifestation, and that to me is kind of a little bit of vibrational medicine. It's like when everything comes together and flows in harmony, and it's amazing. And by the way, Think and Grow Rich, one of my mentors actually leads the Think and Grow Rich mastermind on behalf of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. That you could, so yeah, if you guys want to join that, let me know.
Have you done it before? Have you read the book?
Oh yeah, I've read the book. Yeah,
I haven't even finished the book. That's just like literally what I got from like 1/4 of it.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. But yeah.
But what were you saying before that? I like totally interrupted you. We were talking about manifestation, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you were talking about reaping and sowing seeds, and then like you wait, and then you like. Yeah.
Anyway, well, I think the
Yeah.
more that you understand the
words.
fundamentals, the
Yes.
more instant it can be. And I don't know if you ever heard of this guy on YouTube, The Power of I Am, Eric. He's a manifestation coach.
Nice.
So he does these videos, and he's really been kind of changing my brain chemistry recently. And I don't know if you've also ever heard the quote, which Cafe Binge, one of our main teachers, talks about, is like, the universe responds to who you are. And that's why the ultimate manifestation hack is to tap into the version of yourself that already has it and then become that person now.
Yeah.
And I think that your identity, it's like the brain, right, where it's plastic. So it's like if you're switching it up a lot, it's very flexible. But if you're not, it's extremely rigid. And if it's very, very rigid, a lot of that is based on subconscious beliefs that you're not even aware of. And that's what's generating that frequency of our identity is what's generating our experience. But there's a kind of like a little lag of like the like we generate it and then it's like we process the light back visually. So
Yeah.
you can like, that's why I feel like people will get flukes in their manifestation because they and then also your beliefs and your identity also impacts the speed and the amount that the 3D lags, as well as your perception of the permanence and the power of the 3D, factoring into the permanence and the power of the 3D. So you can hold a certain identity and then however much time later have that experience in your 3D, but by that time you've already been generating maybe from your old identity, so then it flopped away.
Yeah.
And because it's going to
I
be
know what
like
you're
your
talking about.
dominant. So
Yeah.
it's like you can, like, let's say you just generated exactly what you wanted, and then in that instant where you checked the 3D and it hadn't come through yet, you're like, oh, it's not there, boom, generate that. Boom, 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 boom. It's like that little instant where you were generating from what you wanted, like blipped by in a microsecond. You're like, oh, that was fake. Like, oops, got my hopes up. Like,
Yeah.
and
No,
it's like,
I
but if
completely
you
agree with you.
understand
Yeah.
that, then that's why this guy Eric has been changing my brain chemistry so much, because like everything can be going wrong and crumbling around you, and it's like, oh, I'm the person who everything was going wrong and crumbling around me, and then everything became perfect and all my wildest dreams came true right now.
Yeah. I completely agree with you that I actually think it is such an exact science, and any sort of like warble there is in it is literally just like not abiding by the law, which is to generate the reality and experience the reality based upon your vision and what you want to see, and be acting from that thought vibration, frequency vibration, versus like any feedback from the external realm
Well,
whatsoever. But it is
good evidence of like, wow, this is what my old identity was generating.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
But it does require like, it's the thing that requires the most like diligence and like in the human realm, because it's like to control your mind, there's like so much energy, so many thoughts flying around, there's so much stuff from your subconscious. We're so taught to be identified. I think it's a psyop to be so identified with our past and like to hold on like so tightly to it, and when it's like genuinely like not even real. You literally are like recreating it and crystallizing it all the time. That's why I also think we're like history is drilled
They
so
had
deeply
to
into our
drill
heads.
us on
Yeah.
our collective history, you guys.
Yeah.
In our formative years, they looped us all over and over. This is what happened. This is what happened. Because that's literally the only way that could have happened.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
I would say this because it's the matrix or the world that we live in, right? Like it uses fear and shame and guilt to control and manipulate.
yeah.
So that's like to break free of that is understanding like where those limitations come in. You were talking about identity, beliefs, all these things that like the things that hold most people back. If you could drill down into what it is, it comes down to some form of fear, shame, or guilt.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, which is why we were even talking about earlier the whole like repent thing. Like my perception of repent had previously been like feel shame and remorse over what you've done and like basically admit like I'm wrong, I'm guilty, I'm like sinful, I regret it, I'll change, versus it being like, oh, I'm gonna like change my perspective, change my perspective. Yeah, but I really think that like even like we're so drilled on like being like nostalgic and like taking all of these photos and saving them in photo albums and like saving our baby, like all of this stuff. Like I feel like it's like you could be new in every moment and like not identify with a past version of you, even if they were like cute and awesome. It's like, but are they actually like, is the like continual crystallization memory of them making it hard to like be a completely quantumly new version of you in the future? I mean, that's just like one of my opinions.
A reinforced, forced identity.
Yeah, you're just like reinforcing. And so anyway, yeah, Calista, I do completely agree with you. I think that like all of that manifestation stuff, it's literally just like warbles within our own consciousness. And there's this guy, I haven't read the book, but I heard it's really small. It's like The Secret of Getting Rich by like Wallace E. Wattles or something. Have you heard of this? But he talks about that. The Science of Getting Rich. But he talks about this. I watched like somebody break it down in a YouTube video, and it's basically like literally like we're given this creative power of like our imagination and our projection, but like the real work and like the, I don't want to say like hardest work, but like it does take the most like diligence is to stay in the state and the vision of like what you are creating versus like any feedback of what's coming around you, like influencing that vision or like how you feel, which we've talked about recently that like a hack for that is like viewing your reality as like a crusty version of like what a past version of you manifested.
Well, I think anything too can be used, like ignoring it is one thing, which is great, and then using it to your advantage. Like even a past identity, like let's say I identify as being really disorganized and I want to be really organized. Like yes, it's one thing to detach from all of these memories I have of like disaster, but it's also really powerful to go back and think like, oh, that one time I cleaned my closet. Like, oh, that one time I like turned all this stuff in on time, and go back and kind of cherry pick these instances where you did demonstrate the quality of the desired self-concept and be like, yeah, that's always been me. That's me. That's always been me. Look at that. Like, look at that. And then it's kind of like
acknowledging the desired state.
It builds onto it. Yeah. So it doesn't have to just like be holding you back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, there's one thing to be said about acknowledging your desired state, acknowledging the desired state of what's happening and like the current scene of whatever it is like in your life. And then there's also something to be said at looking at the subconscious programming that you are trying to change. Because if you don't acknowledge that you have subconscious programming in a certain area that you want to shift, you can't shift it because it becomes a blind spot. So
100%, you can't change what you don't accept.
But to your point, it's more important, more powerful to acknowledge that you are something that you're trying to be more of. Right? Yeah. So
I love it.